Good morning. It is Wednesday? Wednesday, January 9th, 2019. Yeah, I look pretty much like I just crawled out of bed because pretty much I just did. I'll take my shower a little bit later. Found out yesterday that it takes a little while for these videos to upload from the phone. And by the time I leave to go driving, they're still uploading. And so a lot of data has been used. So I'm going to do this a little bit earlier today and see if I can't get it uploaded before I leave. Yesterday was, again, a real mix of frustration and actually okay. The good news is I met one of my favorite riders while I was Ubering. It's somebody that we've made an actual connection with. I knew a member of her family before I met her. And she's going through a lot of the same stuff I am. And she wanted my number and gave me hers because she wants to get a bunch of people together. Now, guys, don't think like that. She's way too young for me, and she's living with a guy. I'm not interested in that at all, but she is a great person, and I'm really glad that I ran into her. So there was that for yesterday. Okay, today we got, well, there's a lot of interesting birthdays. I guess I'll go in reverse order here. In 1982, today, someone named Catherine Elizabeth Middleton, otherwise known as Kate, was born, and she's part of the royal family. I keep hearing the name. I think she's married to one of the grandkids. So if you're a royal familyite, say happy birthday to Kate, or Duchess of, I don't know. But anyway, it's actually the one part of British culture I have zero interest in. So moving on. Now, real royalty was born on this date in 1944. Happy birthday, Jimmy Page. Just an amazing studio musician in the 60s. Member of the Yardbirds. And once the Yardbirds broke apart, of course, he brought together one of the most famous bands in rock and roll history, the New Yardbirds. Well, that's what they tried to call themselves originally. Rumor has it that Keith Moon of The Who said to Jimmy Page, "Hey, Jimmy, the name, with a name like the New Yardbirds, you're sure to go down like a Led Zeppelin." Other places say he said lead balloon. Jimmy liked the phrase and misspelled lead so that, and I quote, "those stupid Americans won't pronounce it lead Zeppelin." Happy birthday, Jimmy. Great to have had you. And in 1913, American president, disgraced though he may have been, Richard Nixon was born. Happy birthday, Richard. Tricky Dicky, as we used to call him. I have no actual memories of Nixon as president, but I could tell he was very controversial. And when I was younger, apparently that's really all it took. I decided I was a fan. My relationship with Richard has evolved quite a bit over the years. I'm certainly not a young Republican anymore. I left my Alex P. Keaton days behind me. But man, is he fascinating. And unlike certain current presidents, he had huge flaws, but he also had huge positives. It's such a fascinating story of human beingness. Such a flawed character, but deep and intriguing in many ways. And also, I don't have any actual memories of his presidency, so that probably helps in that there's enough distance I can see kind of what everybody's saying about the guy. Ultimately, he should not have been elected. But dang, still very impressive in many, many ways, be that constructively or especially destructively. Okay. I went looking through today's events in history, did not find a whole lot I cared to talk about. 1776, Thomas Paine publishes Common Sense. I don't know enough about it to really speak, and besides, there's a biggie. 1998, we made a new discovery about the universe. On this date, it was announced or published by two separate research teams. And what they discovered is that the universe is not behaving at all like we thought it would. All right, a little very brief introduction to cosmology. Cosmology is the study of the universe as a whole throughout its entire life. How did it start? How did it get to where it is now? Where will it be in the future? And it's that future part we're going to talk about. The universe as a whole is expanding. It's getting bigger. Its radius, if you will, although that's not really the way to look at it either, but let's simplify this. The universe as a whole, we can break it down to two forces working on it. Gravity, which is the attraction of all matter to each other, is pulling things in together. Whatever caused the initial burst or big bang or growth or acceleration in the universe imparted an outward momentum. So, this is exactly like throwing a ball up into the sky or any object up away from Earth. If you give it enough of a throw, certain things will happen. It will have its highest speed as soon as you let go. The ball will rise up, but ever so slowly, or more slowly over time. Once it loses all of its momentum and energy, it gets up to the height of its arc and accelerates back down due to the pull of gravity. So gravity's always pulling it down. It just happens to have some speed up that it can get away for a while. Now, if you throw that ball a little bit harder, it'll go up higher before it falls down. If you throw it at just the right amount of throw, it will rise, never quite stop rising, but always slowing down, and maybe in a real Earth experiment, it'll hit orbital speed and just go into orbit. But there's such a thing as escape velocity. If you threw that ball up hard enough, it would go out. It would still slow down because gravity is pulling on it, but it won't stop. It'll just keep going and accelerate out. Now, these are the three different options we thought, not accelerate out, but just continue to, it basically escapes the velocity and just never stops, constantly slowing down. Now, these are the three options for the universe as a whole. We know that the universe was tiny, and by no, I mean this is what our model is. It fits the data as best we've got. So we know that the universe was incredibly tiny in the past. It's very big now. We know that it must have expanded, and with some force, and all of the matter within it is trying to pull it back. So we figure either the universe is going to collapse back on itself. That's like the ball being tossed up, slowing down, coming to a stop, falling back down. It could be perfectly balanced, which means that it will always slow down. Never quite. It's just on that cusp. Is it going to fall back down? Is it going to fly away? Escape velocity, if you will. And if the initial Big Bang was big enough, then the universe will just keep on expanding forever and forever and forever. It's none of those. It looks like because of 1998, we discovered that the universe is not slowing down. It's actually expanding at an increasing rate. It's accelerating. That would be a lot more like, instead of throwing your ball up, you put a little rocket engine on it and just powered it all the way through its flight. It's not going to slow down. It's not going to come back down. And so it certainly looks like that's what's happening with our universe. We didn't expect this, but it came in at the same time from two different teams with two different lines of research. I'll let you look up into it for any details. But it was a shock. I was in the planetarium world at the time. We were paying attention to this. This was a huge game changer in cosmology, in our understanding of the universe. And it's led to the idea of dark energy. Again, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but basically, dark energy is the measurement of the unaccounted for energy accelerating the universe. So there's an energy in there. It's a repulsive force. And it's dark, meaning we can't see it. That's all the name really implies. So what is this dark energy stuff that's causing the universe to accelerate? We don't know. Not a clue yet. And the energy content of the universe seems to be about 75% of this dark energy. So it's a lot out there that we don't know what it is. And it was today in 1998 that we first, wow, that was 21 years ago. Wow, that doesn't seem that long. It was a huge quake in the astronomy community. So please do look that up, how our entire concept of the universe changed overnight. What was most amazing to me is that it held up. Almost all of these game-changing discoveries are announced early, are way blown out of proportion, early results that just don't hold up to further scrutiny. This apparently is held up. Our universe does seem to be accelerating, and we don't know why. No time to go into what that means for the fate of the universe, other than just to say if you're around in 14 or 15 trillion years, it'll be very, very cold and lonely with almost nothing visible in the sky. You wait a little bit longer, all of our individual atoms will probably fly apart. Have a good day. Enjoy. I'll talk to me again soon. Bye-bye.